So do you ever find yourself addicted to a new game? It's got robot cheeks. It's got sick weapons. And it's got some of the goofiest bosses I've ever had the pleasure of fighting in a video game. This is Roboquest, and I am totally hooked on it. And here we are in game. This is Roboquest. A very, very fun game that I've been messing around with in my own private time recently. It is not new. It came out in 2020, I believe. But it did just get its full sort of early access release on consoles. So I know a lot of new people are getting their eyes on this game. And I've been having a ton of fun with it. I've put about 20 or so hours into the game so far. This is the sort of main hub world. Where you would kind of run around with your friend. It's two-player co-op, which is really cool. A lot of these newer games tend to like just forget co-op. Like not a ton of roguelikes are co-op together. So it's good to see one where you can actually hang out with your friends. But yeah, and here we have a workshop where we can buy passive upgrades that improve your just between runs, game to game. And you unlock more and more, but you cannot see the ones further down very well until you actually get to them. And there are different robots to unlock. I have actually unlocked every single one of them, but they are all locked behind different challenges. There is the basic one you start with. Everybody starts with the Guardian. He's got Safety Bubble, and his melee, or his alternate skill, is a bash, where he just simply punches an enemy. Then you can unlock Recon, who has a cool blink, and a dagger, which gives you additional healing cells when you smash into people. Engineer is one of my favorites. He can summon small robot pals that float around and they sort of damage enemies. They're not the strongest, but they've got a lot of character to them, and I like them a lot. Then Commando, which is my second favorite, who's he just completely forgoes the whole melee thing and just has a rocket on one arm and a shotgun in the other. And then we've got Ranger, who is a bit of a niche character. He plays a lot like Flak or Zero from Borderlands with temporary invisibility and increased crits and crit damage. So he's very cool. I do like his color of green, though. Very good color. But yeah. For today's gameplay, I am going to be playing as the Commando. We will go ahead and hop on over and start a game real quick. You are also able to select difficulties. I'm going to keep you on standard. Easy, I feel like, is a little too easy, and Discovery is just as it says, Discovery. And then Heroes is no joke. You will get messed up very quickly on this one. Yeah. So we'll hop over into a game. Very snappy, very quick loading times, especially if you're playing single player on a pretty decent machine. I am playing on PC, and I have a pretty slightly above average setup. Nothing too crazy, and this game runs beautifully. There's a little bit of stuttering when the game first launches, but otherwise it is pretty smooth. One thing I will say, the camera sensitivity is very wonky when you first get the game. You will spin and fly and flick and move around all crazy. Like, I have it turned down and it feels a little sluggish, but there's a little thing in this game where you were able to have like some really good bullet magnetism, and it honestly, I don't like it in most games, but it feels really good in this one. I think I'll start out with the windmill rifle. So actually need to go in here and turn the music down just a tiny bit. The music in this game is very, very good. It's just very loud when it starts out. Yeah. So here you'll see, we'll start out with some basic enemies. We've got slides and dashes and jumps, double jumps, all kinds of fun stuff. And we'll rocket after him. Yeah. So you've got your basic melees, basic enemies, all that fun stuff. There's my shotgun melee and rocket blaster. So the commando, by just being in combat, essentially stacks up this scaling buff called Fury, which allows him to get more fire rate, more accuracy, all kinds of things from his weapons. So this game is very, very smooth. Gameplay feels very smooth. The enemies feel responsive to shoot, and really, it's just a hell of a fun time. Up on the top right of the map, you can see there's a easily detectable, like, colored area for finding, like, secret room, or not secret rooms, but little side paths. And this is a challenge room. So you would go to one of these rooms in the hopes of doing a challenge, which this is a beginning one, so is extremely easy, but they can get a little complex. It gives you a good choice of weapons. So I will go for the chainsaw. And I've got a new perk available as well. So let's see. Every 4 shots decrease your next weapon shot by 60%. More fury. Fire 2 additional rockets, but their damage are decreased. I think I'll go with quadrinity. That's a good one to have for like general DPS, especially on a high fire rate weapon. Yeah. So this windmill rifle is very high fire rate, so I will be proccing that perk very often. Yeah, the objective of this game is to simply just get as far as you can while smashing your way through all these enemies, and occasionally there's like dungeons with different bosses and such. Let's see. We'll go with... we get an energy cell. So these energy cells, the blue ones, are a currency they can use by different perks, like increasing melee and shorty damage. Shorty is our little side shot sort of gun. This game has characters and a little bit of story, but it's not very relevant at all in my opinion. So let's see. This guy, you can upgrade your weapon to keep it relevant if you've got one that you'd like to hang on to, and you can re-roll your affixes, which are like your little modifiers. So I've changed this one to do shock damage now. And this is where your first choice comes in, really, of how you want your run to go. Oasis, Ruins, or Quarry. So there will be a little intermediary area between these three before the entire map changes. So Ruins, you go to the big sort of city, kind of that is literally a big ruined city. Think, say, a game like Remnant from the Ashes. It's got that kind of aesthetic to it. Oasis has like kind of a more wild, deserty, jungly aesthetic to it. And Quarry has a very industrial aesthetic, and it's the one I am least practiced at going to. So I think I will go to Quarry. And this is a very important thing to remember. This code right here, it is for opening a special door later in this arena. And if you just run right by this, like I've done many a time, you will 100% not be able to get into a room with a bunch of loot. So, yeah, I am a good ways into the game, so all of these extra choices and everything you see me having are unlocks from that main sort of workshop back at the hub. Let's see if I can get in here and chainsaw this guy. Oh, yeah. Just like Doom Eternal, chainsaw drops additional health and occasionally additional resources like the energy cells and everything. And I will say a double chainsaw with burn damage is rather effective. Ooh, and I just did a head stomp there. Ooh, one of my favorite weapons in the game. So if you see this gun right here, it doesn't look like much. It just fires a little bit of electricity. This is a monster of a weapon because it arcs between all the targets in the area, which is really good, especially if you are a bit of a coward and you just want to stand back and shoot one guy and have it arc between everybody else. I will say that this game does reward fast movement and playing extremely aggressively. If you play the game like, think Bloodborne, where it's like, you're going to go in and you're going to get hit, but as long as you are dealing damage back and getting kills, you are going to regen as much of that health as you lose. Those little green drops that the enemies drop down below them are healing. They are basically 1-to-1, so like one heals you one, quite literally. Let's see. Ooh. That's a good one to have, but I think, yeah, I'll go with this perk. And different weapons have different star ratings, which is like their sort of level. So this is 3 stars, so it's a 3-star weapon. I only have a 2-star shock rifle, but I can upgrade mine to 3. So each area kind of has a cap to the weapon level as well. Also, every time you go into a like safe room like this with different friendlies, there is always a chest that will drop some items for you as well. So I can't promise I'll get very far in the quarry, but I will do my best to kind of show off the game. And yeah, the more enemies you kill and the faster you kill them, the more XP you get, and the more levels you get, the higher your base damage for your abilities, and the more interesting perks you can pick up. So, and I will say the health pickups drop and despawn very quickly, so you do need to be aggressive and get in there and get as much of that HP as you can. Boop, 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 boop. Just knock him out. And I have a perk on currently, which allows enemies to actually drop weapons, which is not a normal thing for them to do. I'm kind of getting dinked by a couple enemies. Excuse me, sir. There we go. I do like the fire launcher. So there are 3 elements. There's flames, there is shock, and there's cryo. And there is a sort of build-up mechanic where the shock and the cryo will build up and give a more noticeable effect than, say, fire damage. So cryo, enemies will obviously get stunned and frozen, and electricity, they will also get stunned, but they will arc out to enemies around them as well. So let's see, we got a new perk. Ooh, this lowers our bonus shot to only taking every 3 shots. Oh, and this robot right here is something that's very important for you to get. I am currently stuck in a bunch of enemies. This is not great. Oh, we did a head bounce. But yeah, that one that goes across, on top of dropping a bunch of extra HP, also drops XP for you to grab. And that basically just like leads to you having many more opportunities of perks and having much more fun as a whole. And get in here and get some of this HP right now. Yeah, there are items you can get that are passives that you can equip before going out on missions. So right now I'm rocking one that allows me to get higher fire rate anytime I jump on one of these sick grind rails. So if you slide while you're up on top of one of these, you can actually ride them back and forth. And I believe this was... Oh wait, it's already open. Must stay... So I guess once you open this, it stays open, which is nice. Ooh, blast minigun. Open up this chest, and it gives us a new perk. Let's see. Critical hits ricochet to one enemy within 8 meters. That is a very solid perk. Let's see. Out of all these ones, I think I will just take the power cell. Then I will go over here, and I will sub out my fire launcher for this blast minigun. This is a weapon that was featured in the trailer that I really like, and I don't get to use very often because it seems to be a bit of a rarer drop. And initially when you play this game, the weapon variety is not super common, or super great, but the further you get into it, the more weapons you unlock by doing little hidden challenges and everything. It's sort of like any other roguelike. You're gonna play, you're gonna die, you're gonna play, you're gonna die. Unlock more and more and more as you go. Oh, this is another one of these challenge rooms. This one is basically a little mini boss fight where you are gonna fight as many enemies as possible. Oh, I'm gonna try not to die. It's a tall order for somebody who's not very good at video games. Oh boy. And I got knocked out, which is alright. This is just a quick look at it. So, when you die, you do get sent back to your sort of overworld hub right here. And I will probably take a quick crack without, like, between recording and try to show you guys some later game footage of a run. Ooh, what's this? Yes! Burn! Burn! Yes! You know, I'm not quite sure what came over me in that last clip. Whew! That was quick. A little bit of help from my friend Melty Melty. Oh, I'm sorry. we made our way to the first boss of the Oasis. A little bit different. I am more comfortable moving through the Oasis than the previous map, but let's see. We do have a very rare flamethrower, full HP, and let's see what boss we get. Oh, it's one of my favorites, Diggy Mole. He is not exactly the most difficult boss, but he is a very fun one to take on. Moves around a lot, has a ton of projectiles. If you like a sort of bullet hell style game, this is definitely something you'll like. Doesn't exactly seem weak to the melty, but everyone will melt eventually. Yeah, so far I've been having a pretty good run this time, and I am got a couple perks. My rocket has a lower cooldown. My shotgun melee is now an explosive shotgun melee, and various other like little cooldowns and perks that I've been able to get up, and it's making this slightly easier. I've got a sort of DMR and a flamethrower, so our friend Diggy Mole here does not stand too much of a chance as long as I keep moving and don't get smashed by all of his little mines that he just hit me with. I might have spoken too soon. Oh boy. Nah, we got him. We got him easy. Uh-oh. Yeah. And just like that, we beat our first boss. And we get to progress a little further into the game. Only got a rank A because I went a little bit slow. And a little bit of exploration further back in the level that I will save for you guys to find out. But yeah, that's about the encounter you should expect when you hit our first boss. And I don't think I'll go too much further because I want a lot of this game to remain fresh for you guys who are here. Because you only get to experience some of these areas for the first time once. So once you experience them, it is the same map, essentially. There's randomization to how they're laid out, but more or less they are very similar maps. And this is a sort of sketchy comic bit of story that plays at the end of the first act. And we blast off on our way to the fields. Anyhow, that has been Roboquest. It is a indie game that not a lot of people are talking about, and I'm very, very pleased with it. The gunplay feels good, the movement feels solid, you can dash around, all the enemies feel responsive and fun to hit, and so far, I really like it. I really think more people should play it, and you can play it with your friends, you can just play it solo. It's not too unbearably difficult, even though you saw me get my ass kicked. But yeah, anyhow, thank you for hanging out with me, thank you for watching some of the gameplay. If you have any comments or suggestions, drop them down below. If you like this content or would like to see more of me or just have more content in general, drop a follow and I will see you guys next time. Anyway, it's been Daily and Fefe with another interesting little roguelike, and I hope you all have a great night.